Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Backlog, a series where I will be completing 76 games in my personal backlog and then going over my experience with them. Now keep in mind, I am no professional critic, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. And don't get mad at me if I say something bad about a game you like, you keyboard warriors you. Yeah you, I'm talking to you. Scroll back up and watch the video. We all here? Yeah? Okay, good. To start off the backlog, we have Come Deliverance. It's a realistic medieval action RPG that was released in 2018 by Warhorse Studios. It was highly praised for its historic accuracy and depiction of events that took place during the time. Obviously not everything that happens in the game happened in real life, like our main character's story, but it's pretty damn close. Speaking of its story, let's talk about it. And if you want to avoid any sort of spoilers, skip to this part of the video to avoid them. Our story focuses in on the life of a young man named Henry. Henry is the son of a blacksmith and acts as his apprentice. It is made very clear that he is extremely inexperienced in all aspects of life and still acts like a teenager. He gets drunk, gets busy talking to his girlfriend, and gets in a lot of fights. One day, while Henry and his father are making a sword for their lord, Sir Radzig, his town is attacked by the Cuman army led by King Sigismund. Fun fact, up until me writing the script, I didn't really realize that Sigismund was a real person, and these events between all the characters that aren't our main boy actually happened. It's true, all lords and royalty and the like existed. They weren't made up, and these disputes and alliances were real. Alright, enough jibber-jabber or whatever the f*** you want to call this. Let's get back to the story recap, you goddamn yapper. Whew, can never get enough of this guy, can we? This attack results in heavy casualties, including Henry's parents, which we are forced to watch his parents suffer a brutal death. The sword that Henry had made with his father is the last thing he has from him, and he makes it his mission to get the sword to Sir Radzig. Henry eventually ends up getting robbed by a group of bandits and he loses this sword, and is beat nearly to death. This beginning sequence sets up the rest of the game as Henry feels like it is his duty to honor his father's last job to find and deliver this sword to Sir Radzig. I could sit here and talk about what happens in the story all day as it's extremely interesting, but if I did, we would be here all day. I do suggest going to watch a story recap or playing this game if it seems interesting to you. Trust me, it's worth your time. I will, however, point out this one specific issue with the story. Near the third and final act, a major bomb is dropped and it is revealed that Henry is actually Sir Radzig's son, and his father was just helping raise him because Radzig couldn't marry a commoner.
Your father, your real father, is alive. You even know him. It's your liege lord, Radzig Kobyla.
This was wild because moving forward, they act like this is kind of a normal thing and Radzig becomes a father figure to Henry instead of being his boss. It was an insane twist, don't get me wrong, but everybody acted like it was normal and it just happens. And Henry actually acts like Sir Radzig is his father and doesn't resent him or get mad at him for abandoning him. Side note, I did replay the intro to the game for this video, and after doing so I'm surprised I didn't catch on to it much earlier because of the amount of hints that they drop onto you. Anyway, that will wrap up this story section, and welcome to anybody who skipped that part of the video. Now I'd like to focus in on the gameplay. We can definitely start with the combat and how interesting it is. Henry starts out not knowing literally anything, and with a combat system like this, it makes everything so much more difficult. On screen, you can see me fighting my mortal enemy Kunesh, f***ing Kunesh. He's a town drunk, and let me tell you, he kicked my shit in, and it was extremely unforgiving. But over time, you get to learn this weird and unique combat system, and then you start to feel unstoppable. Until you come across an enemy bandit who's much smarter than you are, and you can't do anything about it, even if you had the better armor and equipment. One thing that is much appreciated about this game is the fact that you can't just go and run to get the best armor and equipment, and then expect to be the best. Henry is an idiot, he doesn't know how to fight. So you actually have to learn how to fight, and there is no real benefit to getting the things with the best stats, because you won't know how to use them. The game forces you to learn, and there's a real sense of progression. You actually feel like you are learning things from it. And this doesn't just apply to fighting either. It applies to everything. Making potions, using a bow, collecting herbs, talking to people, horseback riding, stealing, hell, even drinking and gambling. You can get better at that. And trust me, I wish I could get better at that in real life too. Everything about the skill progression in this game feels very natural and realistic. No part of it feels artificial, and Warhorse deserves his praise for hitting the mark on this so well. However, where they don't deserve praise is deciding to make this game on the CryEngine. Oh my god, the amount of bugs that I have come across in this game were unreal. For a 6-year-old game, you would expect most of these issues to have been resolved by now. But no, There are so many that I assume they gave up on finding them all because none of them are game breaking, more immersion breaking. Here's one that I captured where the text was broken in a main mission quest, and I thought it was a little funny and frankly kind of harmless. This one though was when fucking Kunesh kicked my teeth in and I was clipped through the ground for what felt like forever. The dialogue scenes happen in real time, and there are many occasions where random NPCs can walk right into your screen and they'll just stay there because they're stuck. There was only one occasion where my game crashed, and that's because I tabbed out. But I do expect better from a game that has been out for a while, and this is the only game the studio has released. If they make another game, I hope they decide to move away from the CryEngine. It would be so much more beneficial for the company. Luckily, the bugs didn't ruin my experience with the game, and I was still able to enjoy my time with it.
Are you quite well after your long journey?
Huh? Long journey? What?
From the gates of hell to here!
This game really understands how side quests are supposed to work. Everything you do in these quests doesn't feel like a stupid fetch quest where you go to one area and fight 3 rats, then come back and get a reward. These side quests give you an opportunity to learn more about each character that assigns them, and they are extremely unique. Nothing repeats itself. Apart from the repeating quests to earn money, but we don't have to talk about those. Each individual quest gives you a chance to learn more about this story-rich world, and we get the opportunity to see how our ancestors would have lived during this time, if you happen to have heritage from the Kingdom of Bohemia. This game gives you such a unique and interesting opportunity that allows you to fully immerse yourself in the world, and you can so easily get lost doing quests for all the interesting characters that you do meet. And that's another thing that this game does really well. Its characters are well written out. You can pick any character that Henry meets in his journey, and they're each individually crafted and feel like real people. They don't feel like hollow, empty bodies just walking around your world with no aim in life. One of these characters that we come across is Father Godwin, the parish priest of the village of Olshitz, and he is truly amazing. He is such a finely crafted character, and he is extremely interesting. He won't directly tell you his past when you first meet him, and he can be a little annoying because you need information from him that he refuses to give you, but he tries to help you out and figure out a solution by going to get a drink with him.
Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
Now, I know that sounds weird. Trust me, drinking with a priest would never sound normal in any situation. But Godwin does a good job at defending this by pointing out the hypocrisy in the Christian faith by Jesus drinking wine, and how corrupt other priests can be. It's up to the player if they want to drink with Godwin, and I personally decided that I had to drink with him. And boy, let me tell you, I absolutely have no regrets. You start off drinking and having some innocent fun. Some arm wrestling and jokes are thrown around, Henry gets a little frisky, and then the bailiff comes in and tells you you're being too loud and kicks you out of the tavern. This leads to you and Godwin getting in a fist fight with the local authorities.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
And after you emerge victorious, you take these ladies up to the bell tower and start ringing it like crazy at the late hours of the night. And then the night takes a quick turn, and I'm definitely not allowed to show you this on YouTube, but I can leave it up to your imagination as to what's happening. Then Henry blacks out, and you are met with this beautiful moment. Then the night is finally over, and the horror begins to set in as Father Godwin has to give a sermon and is way too hungover to do so. And this now falls on you to do this. If you have the proper stats and spend time actually learning how to talk to people, this goes smoothly. But I'll be honest, I failed miserably the first time and had to save scum it, so I would still be on good terms with Godwin. However, it was hilarious how bad I sucked at giving a speech.
So, is our deal still on?
Are you pulling my fucking pizzle? I couldn't have done worse myself if I'd puked on the altar.
Well, I'm no preacher.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
This was just one character I went over, and he was so complex, and even after this, you can do side quests involving him to deepen your relationship with him and find out who he is as a person. You can do this with all characters that give you the opportunity to do so, from the Lords of the Land to Henry's love interest, however many there may be, and you can even interact with low-life scam artists. The world that has been built truly feels alive, and you end up actually caring about these characters. They feel like real relationships, just like in real life. Similarly to real life, Warhorse made it so the game doesn't revolve around the main characters, and life still moves on with or without you. That means that there could be secret timers behind quests that the player is unaware of, because in real life, if you didn't pay attention to something or let it drag on for a bit, there would be consequences. They've crafted a world where there are real stakes and people can die or move on from Henry if he isn't acting rationally. Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of those games that is one of a kind, and that comes with high praise. There is no other game like it, and there may never be another game like it. Warhorse has on their hands the recipe for a masterpiece with the release of the second game, and if they iron out all the wrinkles and flaws and issues with the game, they'll have exactly that. Playing this game was unreal, and it has somehow snuck its way up into my top 10 favorite video games of all time. For this, I have to give it a 9 out of 10, and I have to thank the masterminds at Warhorse for delivering such a phenomenal experience. And with that, I can finally add Kingdom Come Deliverance to my completed section, and remove it from the to be completed section. Thank you for watching. Wait, before you consider clicking off, maybe you could subscribe and support the channel. It's a very small channel, and I would appreciate it if you did. This video did take well over 100 hours to play the game, edit, record, do everything that I needed to do. So I do appreciate any support that you could give me. And if you sticked around this long, thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And stay tuned for episode 2. It'll be coming sometime soon. I've already rolled the game as of recording this episode, so it could be coming a lot sooner than you may think. And for the last time, like the video, subscribe, and just thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.